Hi there, welcome to Hey Sound Guy, podcast where I'll be peeking behind the curtains of the wonderful world of music. Each week I'll be speaking with engineers, sound engineers, musicians and other industry professionals, and we'll be having a little chat with them to see what it is that they do and share some fun stories from the road. Now, my next guest is a good friend of mine. I've known him for quite a long time. He's worked for companies like Delta Sound, Sound by Design, Wise Productions. He currently works for a band called Big Pig and also for an artist called Elaine Page, among others. It was a real pleasure for me to talk to him, and I hope you guys have as much fun with this as I have. Thank you. Please welcome my good friend, Matt Gush.
Thanks, bro. How's it?
Hey, Sound Guy.
Country.
Cheers. How's it going? First of all, thank you very much for coming all this way. I know it's been quite a journey for you, and it's been a journey even just Kansas, getting out of bed. Yeah, right. You came from Kansas. All right, Dorothy.
It's close, bro.
Right. So, how I'd like to start is if you could just, because I know you, but nobody else does.
Nobody knows me.
No one in the world knows you.
I don't even know myself.
Well, you know, that's the journey, isn't it?
That's
to get
true,
to know
man.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who you are, where you come from, what it is that you do?
Okay. I'm Matt Gush. I don't know. I make stuff louder mostly. I'm from South Africa. I was born in Namibia. Grew up for a bit in Botswana. Mostly the Eastern Cape though. And now I live in London. I have done for 12 years.
It's more than that.
It's not. 2007 I came over.
So we met each other basically
like,
the moment you arrived.
The month
stepped
that I
off
arrived.
the plane onto
Exactly,
Pinnacle.
bro.
Right. Okay.
Fresh off the boat.
I thought it was a bit longer.
No. When I was still a dirty immigrant. I'm kidding.
Not like you're not anymore.
No, now they consider me British somehow. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Probably because you got that red
Anyway,
book.
Yeah.
Not that green one anymore.
I've got the green one as well.
Oh, you do?
Shit,
man. I haven't renewed mine. I think mine expired in 2012.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I should probably go and do that at some stage.
It is what it is, eh?
Let's just move this water out of the way because
Good idea.
nobody can see this fucking pretty face. Right. So you came over 2007. And then you stepped straight off the boat into Pinnacle, and we met each other there.
Yeah.
But before we get all that, let's get back to the origin. You studied. You're in Grahamstown.
Yeah, I studied at Rhodes University in Grahamstown.
And you studied music, right?
Yeah. Well, I started out studying a BSc in physics and computer science.
Fair enough. Well, you're a smart guy. I can see why that happened.
Like maths just absolutely annihilated me. I just stopped studying in the third semester because
youth misspent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I knew I was going to fail, so I just stopped trying. I got 51% for Maths 101, and I think I averaged for the whole of Maths 1 37%. So you must know how Maths 2 went. It was bad.
Sure.
But that's what stopped me from carrying on with physics and comp sci. I would have loved to do physics. So second year I swapped to
music.
A Bachelor of Music.
Right.
And
that's good.
We're playing in bands, and I don't know.
Yeah, I remember because when you came over, you were still playing with A Tower of Sheep.
That's the band that brought me over. Yeah.
Right.
So we kind of.
But you all came over together, didn't you?
Kind of. The drummer never made it, so we picked up another drummer that we also knew from Rhodes as well.
Oh, right.
And it took a while for everyone to get here and get settled. And, but we played for, I don't know, 2.5 years in London. Nothing really came of it, and then people just went their own ways. And I mean, I started at Pinnacle as a way to pay the rent while we tried to make the band work, and didn't really do that well at that, but I don't know, I'm still making stuff louder. So
well, I think you did it quite well because you got all the contacts that you needed to. You did it kind of in a smart way. You didn't get stuck, because I know some people that you know as well that are still there.
Yeah, sure.
Still lugging
That's got to be a choice.
No, I
Like, at some point, you've gotta,
100%.
like, you know.
I 100%. I think for them, it's just like it's easy money. They can
Yeah.
come and go as they please. They make
Yes, there's not much about that I would call easy money, hey. But I
Some
suppose it's
jobs
familiar,
are
hey?
easy. Yeah, I think it's really the devil you know.
Yeah. Totally.
I think maybe it's also a fear factor of what am I going to do, or people maybe just don't know really what they want to do, and they're like, well, I'm okay, I'm good at this, I'm earning decent bucks, I can go traveling whenever I want.
Yeah.
So that's probably what that is. Right. So you came over with the Tower of Sheep, worked a bit with Pinnacle. Now, was it a music degree that you did?
Bachelor of Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it 3
4-year
years?
degree.
4 years.
There's an honours degree, but there's no...
There was no honour in it.
Definitely not. But there was no option to not do the 4th year. So
I gotcha.
It's just
Gotcha.
it's a
It's
bachelor
what you
honours,
do, and that's how it
you get
is.
graduated 4 years. And I majored in sound technology and composition.
Oh, you did? All right.
So I mean, the first album of Atarashi, it was called Undone back then. Terrible name for a ska band. It's totally done, yeah. But I mean, half of my composition portfolio was just tracks that I'd written for Undone, and then my entire sound tech portfolio was just our first
recording
album.
and
It's like, yeah, you go, have that.
Fantastic.
So
why not, man?
Yeah, I know.
You did the work.
yeah.
You did what was required, and
Pretty much, yeah. It was a good experience. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think like studying was largely a waste of time, but also it was a hell of a lot of fun, and I did learn stuff, just not what they taught me.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Okay.
I mean?
All right. You just learned which places to stay away from.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weed and just gigs and stuff.
Fantastic. Was having a good time.
And even back then, so I was the sound engineer for the Rhodes Live Music Society.
Oh, great.
Which was they used to put on like 1 or 2 gigs a month.
Now, sorry, is Rhodes, is it related to Cecil John Rhodes?
It was, yeah. So it was started, I think, by funds that he bequeathed to founding.
I know
University
his grandson is a friend of mine, or his great grandson is a friend of mine. Yeah.
Okay.
I worked with him in America.
Yeah, he's a controversial guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, I
we
know.
can go for hours. But but yeah, so it was started with money from his life or whatever, and also in the constitution of Rhodes University, he made sure that a third, I think, of the students were to come from Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe and Zambia, because Zambia was northern Rhodesia.
Right.
And so, yeah, I've got, as a consequence, like the bassist from Undone was a Zimbabwean guy.
Okay.
Still a good mate of mine. He lives out in LA now, Long Beach.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of
right. Sorry, so I interrupted you.
That's
You were doing live sound for the foundation.
Yeah, the Live Music Society.
Okay.
So
yes.
they needed a sound engineer. Obviously,
You just
when you do gigs, you need PA, and the sound tech tutor at Rhodes, a lady by the name of Karen Cooper. She also owned the only PA available in Grahamstown.
Great.
So, and it was all like, I mean, it was horrendous stuff. It was all like, Samson microphones and Wharfdale speakers.
Amazing.
And like, I don't know if I even knew what a graphic EQ looked like. Sometimes when she felt like treating us, she'd give us a
box of chocolates.
like a 4-channel Behringer compressor gate thing.
Wow.
That was all the outboard that she owned.
Wow.
But
I mean, this was back in the 1800s, so you could really expect too much from.
Yeah, dude, and deepest darkest, hey, like no.
But when was this? This is
2000. I was at uni from 2003 to 06.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't see a digital desk until I
Technology's
think
come along quite a way.
There was an 01V that Rhodes University Music Department owned, but no one knew how to use it, so it never got switched on.
Everybody was too afraid of this whole digital thing.
Like, how does this work? There's menus, and if you press a certain button, all the faders jump around. It's like mental
witchery.
So I learned on analog, but like the posh desk in that town was a Mackie.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a good place to sort of cut your teeth and figure out how feedback sounds.
Yeah, you're a PA solo.
Yeah, exactly. Really good at that.
Not anymore, though. I know you've come a long way.
I hope so.
Yeah, shit. So this was the first time you got into sound and sound engineering?
Yeah. So I kind of got in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of formed the band in my first year at Rhodes, and we played for 4 years at Rhodes, and just in the gig scene there was a small scene. There was like kind of 2, 3, maybe 4 venues that would occasionally allow us to put music on, but then there was also like the National Arts Festival and that, which is like a massive arts festival. It's sort of second only to Edinburgh.
Wow.
It's a really big thing in Grahamstown. And yeah, I don't know, just kind of started, like, I mean, I would mix the support and then go and play the headline, or like vice versa, or whatever, you know, and like, and when bands came through from Cape Town or Joburg or Durban or whatever, then like we'd play the support and I'd also be mixing, and then I'd get a mate to jump on the desk for us, and I don't know how we sounded. I've never heard a monitor in my life.
Brilliant.
It was like, yeah, but I don't know, it was good fun.
Great, man. That's fantastic.
And then came over here and started with Pinnacle, carried on playing in the band. Did Pinnacle and then Ace Crew as well for about 18 months or so before I picked up enough freelance sound clients to just drop the crewing and carry on as a freelancer.
You did a lot for Wise Productions in the beginning as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I still work for them every now and then.
Yeah.
Wise guy, they were, yeah. I don't wear that shirt. But yeah.
Where's your sense of humor, bro?
Not on the back of a t-shirt.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, what you gonna do, right?
Yeah, and I don't think they care, you know, like they just, you know what, you do what you do and you do it well, so crack on, you know, like no one cares what you wear, like not really.
No. I just always wear black polos, just, you know, it's the uniform. As long as you wear black, you're fine.
Yeah, I normally do wear blue jeans these days, but like, I don't know. It just doesn't really matter.
Don't care anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I was working for Pinnacle, and they sent me on like a 4-hour call to the Wise warehouse, which was, it was like on a Sunday or something, and it turned out that the night before had been their Christmas party, the company Christmas party. So it was just me and a guy called Mick. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Everyone called him Rat, and he was the crew coordinator, and he was there hungover as hell, just like telling us to clean up the warehouse or whatever. And I kind of got chatting to him, and he said, "Oh, send me your CV over," and he just started giving me ins and outs.
Fantastic.
You know, and all these museum jobs that they do. And yeah, not long after that, then I met someone from Sound by Design who did stuff at the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Got in there, and at around almost similar time, I think you asked me to do a NYJO gig or something, and then got in with all the Ronnie Scott, NYJO, all those people, you know, Miles and Tim and Shahan and all the old guard. You know?
Yeah, the old guard. Seems that there's a lot of the new guard at the moment trying to take over. Don't know how I feel about that.
Everyone needs an opportunity, eh?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Right, so Wise Productions, then you started doing a lot of stuff for Sound by Design as well when they were still Sound by Design.
Yeah.
Lots of ins and outs, Royal Albert Hall ins and outs, and the BBC and Maida Vale and
all
things
that
like
sort of stuff. Yeah. I was working through Pinnacle. I was sort of, we did some moonlighting for a company called Orchestral Maneuvers, who used to load in and out the concert orchestra.
Through what was it, Nick?
You'll know.
Nick, was it Nick?
I can't remember.
Kiwi Nick that got us that gig.
I can't.
It was one of the guys.
But anyway, I was loading double basses into the Albert Hall, and I saw a guy called Steve Hughes standing at the front of house desk, and I was like, I just went up to him and was like, "Hey, so who do I speak to if I want to do what you're doing one day?" And he's sort of gave me some about Sarah Brundle's email, and I emailed her, and it was like, that was it. Yeah, ins and outs for years with them, and then eventually they trusted me with a fader, and then they trusted me with 10 faders, and then 100. You know, and it's like,
now you're up to what was that show you showed us the other day? Was it 150 something?
That wasn't a Delta show. That was in house at the Albert Hall, because they've obviously done their whole shift and changed it.
It's now Roundhouse.
It's politics, and I don't know.
I did a gig for them at the Roundhouse yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it fun?
It was alright. Yeah. It was just a bit sort of got promised, we'll help you set things up and this, and then that never happened.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's not a problem setting things up by myself. I'm able-bodied and I can do it.
Yeah.
But when the kit doesn't arrive,
Yeah.
I didn't have PowerCon. I had 2 powered subs.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the PowerCon cables anywhere.
Yeah.
I had to go borrow some from the in-house lampies, who were very reluctant to give me anything. Not even dirty looks they want to give you. You know, it's like it's fucking at a premium at this place.
Yeah.
And eventually, I got the guy Stuart from Delta to beg them and sell his soul for these 2 cables. And luckily, I gave it back, so they refunded the soul.
Okay.
He did thank me for the. He
felt
complete again.
Deposit, that's good.
Yeah, no, he felt completed again. As soon as I left the building, it's like something's back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you did the thing on Wednesday, which I was. The Ronnie's 60th birthday.
Yes, I've never worked so hard in my life.
Is it?
It was so intense, yeah. Because I don't normally... I project manage that as well, kind of from an audio perspective. And I don't really... That was the first gig I've ever really done that for. And so it was just like... Yeah, fighting the corner from an audio side of things, making sure we had all the right kit, all the right people.
But then also trying to cut costs. And
it was mental.
Don't know if that's a job I really want to do, to be honest with you.
Months of emailing, a good couple of meetings, and then like a hell of a long day, and like trying to build a show on the desk, as well as answer all the questions. And it was intense, but I think it was
good report. So
I was pretty happy with the results, to be fair. And, no one in my team wanted to kill me, I don't think, so I'll chalk that up as a win, I think.
Absolutely. But nothing was thrown and nothing was
shattered day, like at the end of it.
That was a long day. What time did you start?
We got in at 7 a.m. and the gig came down at 11:15, and we finished packing up at around probably 12:30.
Oh, that's a quick come down then.
Yeah, I would kind of try to throw as many hands as I could afford. I mean, and then ordered some more free ones as well. Yeah, exactly. And the guys, so I used the in-house audio department, and the 2 of their project managers stuck around to help the loadout, which was amazing. I mean,
that's very nice of them. That's very nice of them.
Project managers often just wander off as the gig starts, and
then that's it. You find them in the pub.
And they were there till the bitter end, which was amazing.
They must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I squeezed a pretty good bargain out of them, to be fair. But
is it?
Yeah, I
good,
think
man.
so. No, they did me a hell of a good price on the whole thing as well.
Mates rates.
Yeah, it must have been.
I suppose also to get in the good graces of Ronnie Scott. I don't know if that counts for anything. But, it's an institution. Yeah, or it has become an institution.
Well, Ronnie's has it. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think to have your name connected to that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just
just go for it. Straight in there, bro. Yeah, these are fantastic. Since I stopped drinking, I've been looking for non-alcoholics that still taste like beer, because I do still like drinking beer.
Yeah, sure.
And these are good. I found a few other ones that are also very good. There's a German one, Klausthaler, very good.
Yeah, the Germans are good at beer.
No, they do a few things quite well.
They're known for it, I think. Cars and beer, it's an odd combination, but
precision.
Yeah,
not always a sense of humor.
Cars, beer, and some good PA.
Hell yeah, that's for sure. Right. So tell me a little bit about this gig, because I sort of heard along the grapevine that it was a difficult one because Georgie Fame had hurt himself.
Yeah, so he took a fall. Apparently, fell off a ladder at home or something, and he's
something
okay,
stuck through his hand or something. Apparently, something completely. Well, again, the grapevine, and you know how that goes. But something completely penetrated through his hand.
Wow.
And he's not the youngest of cats anymore. Did Van Morrison play in the end?
So Van came, and so basically like the Blue Flames still came.
All right. Yes, I know. Yeah,
his band, and then Van sang 2 songs with them, and Kurt Elling sang a song with them.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt Elling came on with the Blue Flames, and then he introduced Van. They did a duet, and then Kurt left, and Van
did one more. Right.
Sang another song. So it was I mean, that kind of worked out. But yeah, it was a lot of last minute stuff.
I bet it must have been quite stressful.
Yeah, no, it was quite mental.
Who else played there?
So the biggest names are probably Van Morrison, Nigel Kennedy.
That guy.
Yes, yeah. Quite a piece of work.
He's lovely. He's lovely, but
he's mad.
Yeah,
but
100%.
yeah, I mean, you know, he's just
a mad genius.
He's like killer dude.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's also like crazy good violinist, but also loves distortion and delay pedals and massive amps.
And he loves being late.
Yeah. No, it's quite funny. So he played with the Ronnie Scott's All Stars. To do his little bit. He was kind of doing a tribute to Hendrix because he obviously was part of
First
Ronnie's
gig I did with him and Ronnie's was a tribute to Hendrix.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you about that later. Tell me.
But he got introduced and everyone on comms was like, we can't find him. We don't know where he is. So like the compere was Clark Peters, who's a actor. I know him from The Wire, but he's done loads of other stuff as well.
Okay.
And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Nigel
Kennedy. And the band's vamping underneath him and they just carry on vamping. And then like Julian Siegel's playing bass clarinet on this number, and it's just like,
you didn't break it again this time, did you?
Hey. No. Shit, I forgot about that. It's not the first thing I've broken either.
Oh mate, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm never going to work again after this interview. And it was like a 7-minute bass clarinet solo while they went and found Nigel and got him on stage. And then he played an absolute blinder. You know, It was a beautiful. He did an acoustic number with a acoustic violin, and he doesn't like microphones anywhere near him. So he has like this crossed pair of DPAs at the front of stage, but then he kind of
turns
stood
around
two meters to the left of them and like facing the band and playing away. But he also has a lapel so that he can chat, so I just kind of snuck that. Sounded horrible and boxy, but like
it's what you can do. It's the best you can do.
Anyway, just beautiful tender number, and then halfway through he just kind of puts his acoustic violin, picks up his electric, and it's just like
rips
full, just mental. I mean, it was ear-piercingly loud, and I was like, right, well, that's gonna have to go louder because that's what it needs to do, you know. So like proper screechy, like mad bass clarinet with an Hammond organ going full tilt, and it's just like, I don't know what this is supposed to sound like, but it's kind of nice.
Hang on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just grab the faders and hang on, like you don't get blown away.
And I played for about, I don't know, I think they did about a 15-minute slot, and at the end of it, I don't know, everyone seemed to like it, so it was sick.
Good,
I was like,
good. It's a good sort of
quite a mad
bar to gauge.
Yeah,
if the people are up and down and jumping, and then it's usually, I mean, not that we know fucking anything about what we're doing.
I don't know what it's supposed to sound like, man. I just think it sounds okay. Like,
it sounds good, yeah, right.
If it sounds good to me, I'm probably one of the most critical pairs he has in the room usually. Like, well, maybe not in that room, to be fair. There's probably a lot of people with very, very good ears in that room. I don't know, but
I love when when the experts come up to you.
Yeah.
You know?
I normally just get a really confused look on my face, and I don't know what any of these knobs do. Bro.
You're brilliant.
Like, yeah, I just quit my job at Starbucks last week.
Jeez, bro.
Yeah,
it's my first time.
Yeah.
No, actually, yesterday with this gig, right? So it was proper festival vibes.
Yeah.
Half-hour slot, half-hour changeover.
Yeah.
Then straight into it.
Yeah.
The first band, quite luckily, had their own engineer, which is awesome because I could finish setting things up and finding PowerCon cables, things like that to make this thing work. I'd also kind of watched the game a little bit in between. I had my laptop up on the box and I was watching the game.
Yeah. That's why I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer.
Because the Springboks won.
Yeah.
And so, first song, like, not even a minute in, and this girl, she had the really quiet voice.
Yeah.
And 2 electric guitars, bass, drums in a small room, like powering. And I'm just pushing things up, and just, I'm kind of being cautious because don't know what it's like, and I don't. The previous band had their guy, and I just jumped straight on there. Just bring it in cautiously as you do. I'm not just gonna fucking ram something against +10.
Yeah, sure.
And this guy taps me on the shoulder. The vocal needs to go louder. I'm like, yeah, all right, bro. Clearly, this is what I'm doing. And then, and for the first time in my entire life, he came and found me after the gig, right? You
Yeah.
said to me, "I'm sorry that I bothered you.
Yeah.
I understand that you were still doing this thing, and
Yeah.
it really wasn't my place."
Sure.
And I was like,
That's
"You're the first person
that's
in the
pretty
entire
rare.
world to ever have done that.
yeah.
To acknowledge that you're being a dick."
Yeah, sure. That was impressive.
Yeah, no, it's I was sort
doesn't
of
often happen. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I love when you get the experts up.
Yeah.
And they all know something about something. The
Yeah.
best is I had this old guy come up to me once, and I mean the set was banging and sounded great, and I was very happy with it. And I sat down, and he comes to me, "The piano needs to be louder," and I'm just like, "No, I don't think so."
Yeah.
In a
It's-
calm, respectful manner. I
can hear it. It's sitting nicely in the mix.
Yeah, I don't think so.
disagree.
Yeah, no, it really needs
Yeah.
to be louder. I said,
Sorry, who are you? The pianist's father.
No, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then he's like, I used to do your job, and I just looked at him and was like, so why aren't you doing it anymore?
yeah, exactly. Like,
And he left.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't come to your office and tell you how to fucking file your paperwork. Or,
Yeah.
come to the bank and
I
tell you how
don't
to
know.
fuck other people. It's just not.
Yeah,
You
I wouldn't
don't
know
do
how to
that.
file your paperwork, man. Like, I don't do paperwork. It's like,
Yeah, I'm terrible
Yeah,
at it.
I don't
Really
know.
terrible at it.
yeah, I mean, like people have.
That's something
opinions
they
on
should
it.
probably teach
think-
you when you go and study sound engineering or lighting engineering, any kind of technical work. They should have a thing in there, what do you call it?
A module.
A module.
Something,
Yeah, a module of how to do your admin, how to do
Yeah.
your taxes, how to do. I think that would be probably a good thing to
Well,
do.
I mean, just more broadly, just at school. I mean, I think everybody needs to know, how a mortgage works, or like
how taxes work.
Yeah.
How,
you just have to kind of figure it out and stab in the darkness, and
Right.
then one day it's all it's
gone
just
tits
mad.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first tax return, I got absolutely caned, and it took me about 4 years to recover and pay it off and all that sort of thing. It's like, and ever since then I've just been like really on top of it. But it's like, that's a lesson that could have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and spared you a lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, also, what I thought you were going to say was that there should be a module in sound engineering schools of like people management.
Oh man, 100%.
How to deal with people that the bassist's boyfriend that wants the bass louder But I don't know. I mean, I took years to figure that out. I thought like being a good sound engineer was just about how to make all the copper connections in the best way, and like learning everything I knew about every piece of gear and just being a total geek about it. It took me ages to figure out that like half of it is
people management.
100% making the artist comfortable with you, making your client happy, and making them trust you. Because especially if in Monitor's world, if you don't have the trust of the artist, you screwed.
Definitely.
I never really got my head around that until quite late in the game. It's like,
well, at least like
taught me that lesson actually. Ronnie, yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that corrected you about his introducing him?
Yeah, he kind of walked over in the middle of his set, walked over to the desk, leant over, having not actually paid attention. So
didn't he do that during like over the microphone as well? Or was that somebody else?
I kind of. Yeah, he said I don't know. I think he heard that I'd said welcome to the stage.
Oh,
like,
that's right. Yeah.
No, dude. I said.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you didn't, man. I was like, I've got a funny accent, bro. Like,
yeah, deal with
off.
it. Deal with it. I didn't call you cunt,
but
did I?
he was. Yeah, I should have. No shame. But he came into Ronnie's, and he didn't really pay any attention to sound in sound check. He kind of. They just needed to rehearse. That's one of those things where the band's put together on the day of the first show, and they just needed to rehearse. So he didn't pay any attention to sound. So I kept on going up every 15 minutes, going like, "Guys, are you happy with the monitors there?" And he was like literally facing the piano, playing away from his mic, so he didn't have a clue. And he gets to the end of the sound check, and I was like, "Are you guys happy with your monitors? You just want to try them out for a second?" And I can't remember who was playing trumpet on his gig, but the trumpeter just like hit straight into his microphone. He was like, "That sounds amazing, awesome, thanks, sweet." Turns to me and is like, "Make my microphone sound like that, and we're happy." So I was like, "Okay, cool. It's two SM58s, copy and paste, check, done. No worries. And then he comes up to me in the first song,
But
like
what he
literally
doesn't
walks off
understand is
stage
that he
and
doesn't
around.
play a fucking trumpet. It's going to sound different.
It's not. Yeah,
It's a different
Funny
instrument.
enough, I couldn't make his saxophone sound like a trumpet. It's just. So yeah, I don't know.
You obviously missed that class, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was getting stoned again.
The audio replace. Yeah. But it properly shook me, and I didn't really deal with it very well. And
it's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It knocks you on your ass for a while.
Yeah.
Like I've had sleepless nights because of artists just being assholes.
Yeah.
For absolutely zero reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a the whole there's a trope about like sound engineers being grumpy, and I think to be fair, like in a lot of venues,
they are.
You do get a grumpy sound engineer who kind of had grander aspirations or whatever,
and just never got there.
And suddenly he's like working at a venue in the backwater somewhere for $70 or whatever, and if you're a touring musician, you don't carry a sound engineer. You work in there, and it's just this adversarial.
Yeah, because they're also bitter, and they're gonna lash out at the musicians. Can you have
so it kind of goes both ways, doesn't it? And then so then you've got to combat that straight off the bat, and be like super friendly and like, how's it going?
Yeah, but I mean that we do that.
But then
we do that when they come in. We go and introduce ourselves, and we say, hey. I mean, this is why this is called Hey Sound Guy. Yeah. Because I do that. I make a point of going to every musician.
Yeah.
Shake their hand and say, hey, I'm T, I'm your sound guy.
Yeah.
And especially if I know I'm going to have a specifically, like a difficult artist.
Yeah, sure.
I did that with... I knew she was going to be difficult because I'd heard all these things. And I walked straight up to her as soon as she walked in and said, hey, I'm T, I'm your sound guy. Whatever you need... we can do it, right?
Yeah.
Let's work together on this, and let's make this a great gig. I was like a fucking motivational speaker,
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, I like you, and then it went really well.
Yeah.
For the entire 3 or 4 days that she was there.
Yeah. It makes a difference, like that trust thing, and like trying to
just a bit of confidence, and also I've got a name. And you've got a name.
Yeah.
What I hate is when artists come in and you're like, hey, I'm T. And they're like, hey.
Yeah.
I usually go like,
you are?
Sorry, what's your name?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
I'm terrible though.
Are you sorry?
I will often like, jump on the talkback mic and say like, so sorry, don't know your name. Bass, what do you want in your monitor? And like, I'll be friendly about it, but like I just like,
you didn't introduce
there's
yourself.
5 of you. I'm terrible with names if there's one of you. So best of luck. I know whose name's on the door most of the time, but like,
I've really in sort of the last maybe 6-7 years, I've really made a point of trying to remember everybody's name.
Yeah.
When
it does help for sure.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
It really does. And you can even say, excuse me, sound guy or whatever. What's your name again? It depends on how you say it.
Sure.
Right. Obviously, you can call me a dick in such a way that I will believe you and think it's a good thing to be a dick. But if you just like go and shout out, "Hey, sound guy," or some sort of derogatory in a way that is condescending towards me.
Yeah.
I don't very much appreciate that.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
I think we need to all work together to make this thing easier.
At the end of the day, everyone's doing the same show, like, and the point is, I don't know, they've got to play well, you've got to make it sound good, and then the punters enjoy it, clients, and then they come back. That's it. Yeah.
I think that sort of that gratitude for me is almost worth more than gold. I really, it's just because just the recognition that you tried.
Yeah, sure.
even if you make mistakes, because we all make mistakes.
Yeah, of course.
But if they recognize that you tried, you obviously don't know their set. You know, as
sure.
a band that comes in,
Yeah.
we get hundreds of bands come through there all the time, and we work at different venues, and we probably meet on average about 1,000 people a year.
It's 3 bands a night most nights,
Yeah,
isn't it? If you do, you know, support.
If you
main
count
show
it
and
up,
late
the
show.
amount of people that you meet, new people that you meet, is probably maybe between 500 and 1,000 a year.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Easy,
and some of them you only meet once ever.
Yeah.
So you can't be expected to know everybody's music, everybody's set, everybody's this and that. I did talking about the confidence, and I did on Monday.
Yeah.
Wow, that was the band called The Damned.
Yeah.
A punk band from the 70s.
Yeah.
I did the monitors for them.
Oh wow, okay.
But how they had it set up, this was a hard day. It was a difficult day.
Where was it?
At the Palladium.
Okay.
In Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah, sure.
So what I knew about this gig was they're bringing in all the gear. They've got everything, but they need an engineer to do the monitors because they don't have a monitors engineer.
Yeah.
And through the day, talking to the engineer and the guitar tech, who were incidentally the only 2 crew that they had.
Wow.
You know, and he's like, "Oh well, our guitar tech can sometimes." Sorry, let me get back to the beginning. So I was told, this is come in, do the monitors, and that's it. I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Sure.
Got there super early, not super early. It was 10 o'clock. And they were building the stage. It looked fantastic. I mean, a whole set. The drummer was up on a fucking 12-foot riser.
Right, okay.
It was this whole Night of the Vampires thing, and everybody was, and they were in the middle. They were enacting scenes from Interview with the Vampire, and people getting killed on stage, and there was the Circus of Horrors, with people doing all these things and swinging on ropes and stuff. So that took a long time, and they were meant to start sound checking at 2 o'clock. And we didn't plug the first cable in until about 2:15.
Yeah.
Right. So already from there on, we were against it.
Yeah.
And now, the best part of all of this, the desk that they were touring was an X32. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right. But then they added a 7-piece string orchestra to the band.
Of course, big London show. You have to mess it up somehow.
You know. And they were all on in-ears. They were a quintet. They were a quintet.
Yeah.
And then the 7-piece orchestra, which I had on hotspots,
right,
not ears, which I had to. All the channels were split from the X32 into an Avid SC48, right? Which I had to run and they also had 2 solo violinists who were on radio packs. Right, so I had to run one solo violinist from the SC48, the other one from the X32. The band monitors were run from the X32, and then the orchestra was run from the SC48. But all of them wanted different things at different times in the set. Certain songs had things that had to be boosted for this guy and that. It was a and then the best of all of that, right?
Yeah.
So the trapeze people, the rope swingers, their rope came over my head. Like it was rested on my shoulder. Okay, so whenever somebody got on the rope, the rope pullers, because there were 7 people pulling on the rope to get these people up in the air, they would push me out of the way, and I'd be like this: X32 over here, SC48 over there, and a rope over my head. I can't, and I've got people like pushing against my bum to pull this rope. And it was like that. The whole gig was like, and then I got to mute the strings because they're not playing now. And then the drummer doesn't like that. And then I got to push the hi-hat up for the bass player. And I had 2 stage wedges as well. And coincidentally, they were also run from the 2. I just said to the guy, why are we doing it like this? Why?
That's absolutely mental.
It was. I can't believe I got through that. I really don't. And during soundcheck, and then the best thing is as well, the engineer that was there didn't really help very much. The house engineer.
Right.
I had to keep calling him over. Can you help me do this? And after a while, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah,
really,
sure.
because it takes less energy.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a sound check, and then the trumpeter shows up, who also had a stage wedge. So I had to put out then another stage wedge for the trumpeter. And so he turns up. He's like, oh, I don't have a microphone. I'm like, okay, so then I have to run, get a microphone from downstairs, run it in all the way, across a 15-meter stage along the front, run in a wedge, do all this, and then the drummer's like, I need more of this, and I'm like, dude, I'm over here now, just give me a second, and then I run back, and then I'm on the desk. Is this good for you? And then the trumpeter, I'm not getting it. I haven't plugged the cable in yet. Then I run back over this. My God, man, it was Yeah, that was a challenging
Sounds like
day.
that gig was kind of damned.
The damned monitors. I did the damned monitors
gig. Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
I want that damned gig.
My God, but
no, let's keep the puns going now. We can stop.
No, I think I don't have any more. I'm just gonna look like a fool.
I'm done now.
Not that I don't
cool.
anyway.
For now, anyway. It'll come back later. Yeah.
Probably. That's the best thing when you're in an altercation in a word exchange with somebody, and then as soon as you walk back, you're like, fuck, that would have been the perfect comeback. And you're like, damn it.
I believe there's a French term for it which translates to the spirit of the staircase. So like, you have an argument, you walk halfway down the staircase and you go, oh, that's what I should have said.
That, yeah.
But
it's the same thing when you think, oh, I got to go do that, and then you walk into that room and like, why am I here again?
Yeah.
You know why that is? It's because your brain, as soon as you walk through a door, your brain perceives it as like a new chapter.
New compartment
so it's like shut down whatever happened. And the way to remember it, most of the time, 90% of the time, walk back into the room where you had the thought. Yeah. It'll come back to you, and then just bend your finger or make a twist somewhere to remember what you're doing, or repeat it, over and over. I gotta go mow the lawn. I gotta go mow the lawn.
Yeah. What did I come here for? XLR.
Oh my God! Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Sorry. Let's get back.
What were we talking about? I can't remember. The damned gig.
The damned gig. Yeah. My God. Oh, and then I did a gig at the a D-Rig, install in the D-Rig at the Sky Garden on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't think I've been there yet. I've heard some stories, but
it's a bit of a ball ache because you go in through the stage door, if you will, the security office. Then you got to go down to -2. You got to walk around the corner, take a lift back up to -1, and then you got to walk down a corridor and around the building. Then you got to go up to floor 35. Then you got to get out of floor 35, walk around the corner, take another lift up to 36 with all that gear.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't.
Sounds like a slightly more complicated load-in than most places.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It
Maybe even worse than Albert Hall.
It just takes forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so on the D-Rig, I had a bit of a run-in with some stage mates, where they put the 3 of these stage mates on top of the gig in a box. Yeah. Now, for those who don't know what a gig in a box is, it's a flight case built in with a small desk, all the amps and things. So you just push it,
radio
open,
mics and a CD player or whatever.
Yeah. It's got drawers with some mics and things, so you can basically just move it into position. You don't have to build a desk.
It's like a whole gig in a box.
A gig in a box.
Hence
there
the
you
name.
go.
Yeah.
But because the front and the back covers come off, the spread of the wheels are very narrow, and if they go over very quickly, they stand about yay tall. And as I pulled it out of the lift at the bottom, it went over. Yeah. And all 3 of those stage weights fell on my leg. My Lord. Ooh. It's still swollen and blue. It's a little bit tender.
No, that's
big
not ideal,
freaking scratch down my. Yeah. It just gouged me open. So it's been an eventful week. Of gigs. And then yesterday, it went fine. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was done nice and early, which is good. Okay. You don't get those too often that you've done. Yeah. I was out of there by 8:00.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah,
it was very nice. It's and those poor guys in the main room, they were still there till 11 because I was doing it in the bar at the Roundhouse.
Yeah.
Torkel's bar or something like that, whatever it's called.
I've done like 2 gigs at the Roundhouse in my life.
Yeah, it's a good venue. I mean, it's all right. It's a bit lively.
Yeah,
I did Simande there supporting Incognito last year. Okay, that was fantastic. Really good. Once it fills up, sound just sort of sits down.
Yeah, I mean they've had a K2 rig in there now for a couple of years now. Brick Row originally did it, and then I think Delta I don't know, got the contract somehow.
Yeah. You
And,
know how it
but
goes.
it's still, you know, it's still K2, and it's just wicked PA, and you know, the noise goes where it's pointed and not very far else. Which is
Right.
cool.
That's kind of what you want to, you
yeah.
know, like you were saying before, you know, how do you mic this up? Just point the microphone at the noisy end of the instrument and you're good to go.
Point it at the noisy bit. Right?
It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to know a little bit about, you say you were born in Namibia.
Yeah.
And then you grew up in Botswana.
Yeah. We left Namibia just before I was 4, I think. So I don't really remember it.
Where in Namibia? Windhoek.
Ranyumund. Yeah, so like right on the border, just north of the Orange River mouth. That's the name.
Exactly what it says.
I was born there. My dad worked for De Beers.
Diamonds,
yeah.
Right.
He was an engineering type fella. Actually, metallurgist, but no one knows what that is. So
explain.
I don't know. He made a career out of making big rocks into small rocks, I think.
Right.
You know, he's an extraction metallurgist. So other people would figure out the explosive bits, but then once they blew up a load of ground, this is not how they did it in Ronnie, because that's a whole. I have no idea. Dude,
okay.
Like,
you were too small. Okay.
I was born there. Like I didn't learn to talk for ages. You know.
Oh, of course. Right.
Yeah. But he was
sign language.
He figured out. Yeah. I mean, he did stuff with sorting diamonds and from gravel and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. It's a very engineering.
So he basically just walked around looking for something that shines.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, he's a magpie.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
My dad's a magpie.
Fantastic. Right. Qualified magpie.
Yeah. Exactly,
that'd be a good job.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Just walk around looking for shiny things.
I know some people like that. They do well at music festivals, you know.
Yeah. Sure.
No, yeah. So he worked for De Beers for as long as I've known him, and they started him out. We were living in Aranyamund, and then we moved to Botswana, a tiny little town called Arapo. Like, just pretty much, if you look at a map of Botswana and you put in the middle, like fantastic. In the Kalahari, like. Little town that literally wouldn't exist there if there weren't a shit ton of diamonds there. Really quite a dystopian. If I think about it now, it's kind of weird because the town didn't exist without De Beers, Debswana, right?
Gotcha.
Which meant that everything was subsidized by the company. So like kind of like really very dystopian, but actually it was an amazing place to grow up because it was super safe. You know, there was no one in the town that wasn't authorized to be there. It was the whole thing was security ring fenced.
Wow.
You needed excuse me,
microchips and stuff to get in.
I mean, it was the 80s, so not quite, but you know, like there's no unemployment, zero crime. You know, it was just and then you drive like half an hour out of town and you're in lion country. Like it was a mad place to grow up. And yeah, I mean, none of that bears any relevance to how I got into sound engineering, except to say that I've somehow ended up in like this busy, frantic city with no space for anyone. And I grew up in Botswana, which was, I mean, it's the size of France, and there's like, I don't know, maybe 3 million people there. So like, there's just no one there. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's just
also
so much
flat.
wildlife and bush and
yeah.
I mean, you're talking about lion country. You know, there's there are lions on the border that basically they don't even hunt anymore. They just catch border jumpers because it's so easy. And I mean, what are we? We can't defend ourselves for shit.
Don't tell Trump, eh?
It would be like, fuck the war. Let's just get some lions on the border.
So much cheaper, dude.
Easy. They even feed themselves.
Oh man,
Jesus.
No, but it is. It's terrible.
But it is. I mean, you know, it's. I've also grown up in in the bush. You know, I've had some pretty wild times growing up. Really fantastical times growing up, and I wouldn't change that for the world. You know, being chased by a pot of hippopotami when we're in this boat that's a little bit bigger than this table with a 2 horsepower engine. And we transferred the battery from the Willow's Jeep to start the engine of the boat. And as we sat there fishing, my dad and I and one of the students, his dad was the owner of ZZ2 Tomatoes back in the
Right.
day. It was like the biggest tomato company in South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's a massive lake, massive lake on their farm, and we see over there, about 100 meters away, we see these hippos coming up,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, they're still over there.
100 meters, you're still probably safe for a while. Like, yeah.
For a while, 5 minutes later, they were 50 meters away. And we're like, well, we
Yeah.
should probably think about moving because these
Yeah.
buggers are territorial as everything else.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a scene in a movie, trying to start this boat. Grrr, grrr,
Yeah.
grrr, and then they're here. And what they do normally is they come up under your boat,
Yeah.
tip you over. Once you're in the water, chomp, chomp, and you're gone.
Yeah.
And already with the water, the boat starts going like this. I'm fucking 4.5 years old. I think this is exciting as hell.
It's a new
And my
roller
dad's,
coaster.
like a
Yeah.
ghost. He's
Sure.
like, we got to get out of here, and this
Yeah.
fucking boat isn't starting. He was at the point where he's like, I'm going to start rowing with my hands.
Yeah,
we didn't even
sure.
we didn't have paddles even.
Yeah.
Finally it starts, and
Should
we're like,
creak without a paddle.
and
Yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
and we got out of there, and that was we got out, which is great.
Yes, yeah.
And I mean, hunting in Zimbabwe, getting attacked by a leopard, my dad and I.
Wow.
Luckily my old man was a sharpshooter, so it took him 4 shots, but he put it down. And things like that. It's just so wild and so fantastic.
Yeah. It's
growing
weird.
up.
Like, yeah, I mean, I suppose a lot
And
of
the thing
people will
is
hear these stories and go like,
that-
what the hell, man? Like,
Yeah.
it can't be real or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's, and without wanting to like kind of turn this into a fireside chat from like 2 old Africans.
Hey,
but, like,
why, man? We're here getting to know each other.
Yeah, but
Or
I mean,
we know each other, but these
yeah.
people don't.
But no, we discussed this. No one knows me. So
Yeah, no one knows me either.
But I mean, I was probably about 4 or 5. We were camping in Botswana, and like we heard this. Probably like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 tents. I'm telling the story sort of secondhand because I don't really remember it, but I've heard the story enough times. But like, there's pride of lions. You could hear them coming from a mile away. Like we were sitting having dinner on the fire, and that here's pride of lions getting closer and closer. But they were like being loud.
They
And so they were just traveling, and they were just announcing their arrival to any other prides of lions. They were just,
they probably
like
smelled you, and they're like,
sonic territorialism, and they were just missioning. And so, like, none of the adults were particularly stressed about it because if they were hunting, obviously, you wouldn't
know about them. Yeah,
but they literally like they missioned through our campsite.
Yeah,
and we saw, like the next morning. We like got out and looked at the paw prints and whatever, and like there was clearly like a big adult lion sniffing our tent, and the canvas of the tent's here, my head's here, and this guy must have been sniffing here. So if I'd like sneezed or something and given him a fright,
he would have had you.
just clouted, like.
Well, it's funny I had basically the exact same happen to us when we were, because we didn't sleep in tents.
Yeah,
we basically put down
we
a
didn't
tarpaulin.
sleep in tents after that day.
We put down a tarpaulin.
Yeah,
and then 11 of us in our sleeping bags on the ground.
Yes.
And we sleep like that.
Yeah,
but we've got a sentry and a massive fire.
Yeah,
and this night, I mean, because we went hunting. We went on a meat hunt, so there was a lot of meat in the camp. And every night, where we were was basically just on the other side of a hill, on a dry riverbed, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in this sort of corner bit. Every night we would hear the dussies go crazy because the leopards are hunting them over there. The first night, my dad shot a kudu, right?
Yeah.
And we hung it up in the tree, and it's about 30 meters away from us. And we're all having dinner, and we hear the hyenas. We shine the light, and there's 3 hyenas jumping, trying to get at this thing. So it's wild, wild, wild.
Yeah.
And then this night, the sentry fell asleep, and we woke up the next morning, and they'd walked over us. About 5 or 6 lions had walked over us as we slept, just checking us out. Poor prints that are, and there were 3 of us, 3 children. Now, I was 11, and there was one guy a year older and one guy a year younger than me.
Yeah,
I mean, like that, they could have just carried us off without. We
You
probably wouldn't have even
next
known.
to you wouldn't have woken up.
Yeah, because no one woke up. they were so quiet. They walked
Yes.
over us as we slept, mate.
Yeah.
It was a, yeah. That's a bit of a rude
That's
awakening.
intense, yeah.
That guy, he got it.
It
you
wasn't
know.
intense. That's the problem.
No, that's it was no one knew.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite trips ever. You know, just so much stuff happened in those 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a right. So you went Botswana, and then you moved to Grahamstown when you were a teenager.
So then my dad moved us to. I mean, we kind of just followed my dad around on his career, I guess. And kudos to my mom for putting up with it, because we ended up in some pretty remote. She's from Cape Town originally, so like, you know, she was a long way from family and that, you know. But he ended up getting put in the head office in Joburg. So we moved to Joburg in December '93. Maybe a week before or after Joe Slovo got assassinated.
Right.
You know, and things were really kicking off. Just, you know,
that was a turbulent time.
Really turbulent time.
It was quite a turbulent time. Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, the first democratic elections were in March or April '94. So we were there like 3 months.
April '94.
And then we were into, you know, Mandela became president, and like the lead up to that, I mean, I think
it was tense.
A hell of a close to civil war.
It was tense. I know.
Was working in downtown Joburg, and he would like, you'd call him and he'd be like, yeah, no, I can hear AK-47 fire outside, and like,
I know.
just
Crazy,
people, I don't know how much of it was like terrorism or actually shooting at people, and how much of it was just like violent protesting and like firing in the air, and you know. But it's just like to go from like a completely secure, really small town in the middle of nowhere to then like Joburg.
Wow.
You know, it was like,
my lord.
But I learned to map read, because my mom would like drive, and we'd like, where are we going? I don't know. It's like there's pages and pages of book of map, and how do we get there? Well, let's figure it out.
Got your degree in cartography when you're 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, you know, it was primary school in Joburg, and that's where I started learning to play the sax, and sort of properly started paying some attention to music. Then I went to high school in Grahamstown, because it was the same high school.
Were you boarding?
Yeah. So it was the same high school my dad had gone to, and my granddad, and my sisters had gone there, because my oldest sister started there when we were still living in Botswana, and there was no high school in Botswana, so the government De Beers paid for like subsidized high schooling for anyone who's living
1,800 kilometers away.
Yeah, it was probably I think
more.
It was 2,000 kilometers from like door to door. So
that was just a guess, but
yeah, no, it was about 2,000. I remember we drove down once to Kenton, where we had a little
Kenton, Pretoria.
Cottage. Kenton on Sea.
Kenton, right? Yeah, okay.
And we drove down once for like a long weekend. My dad was like, came home on like Wednesday afternoon, and he was like, right, I've taken the next 2 days off. Pack the car, we leave tonight. Tonight we're sleeping in Joburg, and then on Friday we'll be walking on the beach in Kenton. And my mom was like, you are crazy.
You know how far that is?
But we did, and it was fun.
You were sleeping.
Yeah,
the drive didn't
like
bother you.
2 days of driving to spend 2 days in the beach, and then 2 days driving back.
Yeah, why not, man?
Yeah.
Some family time.
Yeah. So when my sister went to Kingswood in Grahamstown, and she started playing the trumpet and loved it, and there was like there weren't that many. I don't think there were any schools in Joburg that had a music department. So when I wanted to go to high school and I wanted to carry on playing the saxophone, if I'd gone to like, I don't know, Hyde Park Boys or whatever, then saxophone would have become an extramural activity. Oh. And that would have just been like more driving for my mom, who spent her life shipping her 3 kids around in Joburg. So that kind of made
Plus,
sense.
being a boy, you know, you're like, getting to 14 years old, you want to start getting your independence. And
I mean, to be fair, like I thought like Kingswood was the coolest thing, because I really admired my older sister, and it was like the whole tradition thing of my dad and my granddad. But like, I actually hated boarding school. It was like the worst experience.
Oh, really?
I'm not a person that does well with authority and sort of structure, and I'm a massive individualist kind of person, you know. Like I don't know, I just rebel against all authoritarian structures, and like the authorities when you go to boarding school are like 18-year-old boys who are pretty fucking cruel. Yeah, you know, they were. So I did not have a good time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But then I discovered weed, so
everything was all right. Everything was all right.
Yeah, I don't know. I found my feet eventually, and yeah, I mean, high school generally wasn't a total disaster. I kind of played in the school band, and lots of good opportunities, like massive. I had a really privileged upbringing, basically. The school band was really, really good. We went on tour to Cape Town 3 times while I was in high school, and went and played this competition called the Tygerberg Fanfare, and we won it twice and came second once or something. And then when I was in grade 9, standard 7, so 14 years old, we had a band tour to mainly Vienna, but
Very nice.
we did Munich, Vienna, Budapest as well, and we played an international competition in Vienna and won that.
Wow.
It was a pretty hardcore thing for
fantastic.
like a bunch of kids from Grahamstown, Eastern Cape, and I don't know, that was alright. And then I got out of boarding and moved in with some family friends of my parents, and they kind of let me do whatever I wanted to do as long as my grades didn't fall, which was exactly the kind of environment that
you wanted.
I needed. That was really good. It did mean that I misbehaved a massive amount, but my grades never fell, so it was fine.
I was very naughty in high school.
I mean, what's the point of behaving, really?
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few things that I did that I'm not proud of now, and a few things that I probably should have been kicked out for. But if you just deny.
Luckily for me, we had corporal punishment, man.
Yeah, no, we did not. But I mean, the first ever live music gig I went to was at a little pub just down the road from Kingswood called the Tapes. And it was a band called Perez, and they were playing a little acoustic set. And I love Perez. I was like a big fan. They're a band from Durban. I think they're still gigging every now and then. But I really loved them at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, screw this, man. I'm going. I don't care. I'm underage, and it's a school night, and I'm going to be in a bar and whatever. I kind of went and paid my entrance fee. Obviously, like, dude, it was like 1999 or 2000 or something, maybe 2001.
Regulations
like they
weren't quite
they didn't check me for ID or whatever.
If you look the part, it's fine.
Whatever, yeah. I probably didn't, but they didn't care. They might not have sold me beer if I'd asked. But like, I just wanted to watch the gig. I bought a Coke and like, so just sit there watching it, and I see across the room one of my music teachers.
Whoops.
And it's like a Wednesday night, but like she was a younger music teacher, and like she was like one of the cooler ones, so kind of just gave each other the eye, and like, kind of gave it that
neither
look of like,
us are here right now,
exactly, yeah, like I won't tell if you don't,
fantastic,
Coke,
yeah,
and like I think she did actually tell the head of music, who was
oh, that's not good.
Well,
what a bitch.
Yeah, but like it sort of told him off the record, because he kind of queried me about it, and I was like, look, man, I was there to see music because I love music. Like, what's the problem?
What
and
is
he
I'm a music
let
student,
it go,
and
he was a grumpy fucker, but he certainly taught me a lot. Like he got a massively high standard out of his students. I mean, as I said, like this band that we played in. In the 5 years I was there, we won 3 competitions and came second in 1.
Yeah, it's very
standard,
I think the cruel tutelage is very much frowned upon nowadays. But I mean, we had our teachers were hard asses. And our coaches, rugby coaches and stuff, they were fucking hard asses.
I didn't play rugby, dude. I was a late developer. I was not going to get on a field with big dudes and get pummeled. That's another reason why I hated high school, because I wasn't a rugby player. And can you imagine in
South Africa? It's the
not
thing.
It's not a thing to go in.
No,
I played Morphstock, is what they called it.
Oh right, hockey, field hockey.
Yeah, field hockey.
Lovely.
Morphstock is a horrible word.
Yeah, it's not probably something you should be using anymore.
Well, exactly.
With this whole fucking woke culture and everything.
I'm perfectly okay with that, with not offending people.
No, 100%.
Anyway, where was I? I mean, he was a hard ass, and he made everybody in that band cry and threw things at us, and it was, but he did get high standards. I don't know. Would he have got them if he was like, I don't know, nicer to us, or let us get away with
I don't think so.
other stuff.
Personally, I
probably not,
don't.
But at the same time, like there were periods at which I really wanted to quit saxophone altogether and stop playing
Because
music,
of
and
this
then
guy.
I wouldn't be here
No.
talking to you.
No, you'd be somewhere
Yeah.
in the streets of Cape Town looking for some more crack.
I
could have been a contender.
Yeah.
No. No, I mean,
might
I
have gone into, I don't know, finance or engineering or who knows.
Well,
I'm
I'm-
actually used my brain.
I'm just very
Probably
grateful
not.
that you didn't quit and
Yeah.
that you're here,
No,
because
me too.
you know
100%.
we've been friends for a long time, and I think you're
Yeah.
an absolutely fantastic engineer.
Oh, thanks. man.
On that note, I wanted to ask you about some of the people that you're working with currently, and some that you've worked with in the past,
Sure.
bands and
yeah.
artists. And was it Ellie Goulding?
No.
No, what was her name? The Elaine.
Oh, Elaine Page.
That's right.
Very different artist to Ellie Goulding.
Mate, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I remember there was an E in there.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure
sorry.
both of them would be flattered for that comparison. So,
Like either of
I-
them's going to see this.
yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine. Oh, I've just got a cramp. Sorry.
Not enough salt in your diet, mate.
Yeah, probably not.
I hope you haven't gone vegan or something like
Oh,
that.
hell no. No,
Jesus.
don't be silly. Food tastes better with cruelty in it. But anyway.
Yes. No. I
respect vegans. But,
was watching
whatever.
the Meat Eater show, Stephen Rinella's,
Of course you were.
on Netflix last night
Yeah.
as the my family came home, and Savannah walked in as they were slaughtering this elk
Yeah.
that they'd killed. And she's like, "Oh, that's so bad, but it tastes so good." I said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
but let's just go through this again, right? Fair enough. What we do is, yeah, we kill things and then we eat them, right? But
Yeah.
that is what we are as Homo sapiens. We're fucking omnivores, right?
Yeah, sure.
We need meat and we need vegetables and fruit and
Yeah.
everything else. But if you go and hunt an animal for meat,
Yeah.
okay, this animal's going to die anyway. It's not like you're saving, you're ripping away its immortality,
Yeah, sure.
right? And also being killed with a bow or
Yeah.
with a gun, it might sound really horrible, but it's sort of instantaneous, and you're not getting
Yeah.
torn apart whilst you're alive by fucking animals,
Yeah.
lions or wolves
sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, they're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't agree with factory farming, right?
Yeah, the whole food.
the meat that I buy is from organic butchers,
Sure.
pasture raised, all these things. I always say you
Yeah.
vote with your money, right? I buy
of
organic food everywhere because
Yeah.
I'm not into GMOs and I'm not
Yeah.
into all these things. And the more people, now I've seen it in the last sort of 6-7 years, even my corner shop now sells a whole range of organic stuff.
Yeah.
So if we buy more organic things and we make sure that we know where the meat comes from that we
Sure.
eat,
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about that at all. I mean,
No, of course.
but I killed my first pig when I was 4.
Yeah.
I went off meat for a bit, and then about after 10 days, I started eating meat again. My dad said, "Okay, if you want to eat meat, then you should be prepared to kill the animal." I said, "Fine, give
Yeah.
me the gun." Gave me the gun. I walked up to the pig pen. I shot it in the head,
Fucking
and that was
hungry,
it. I'm 100% willing
Yeah.
to do the dirty work myself.
Sure. I think most people aren't, and I
No, they're not.
And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think you should vote with your money, and I think we are built to eat
We are
both meat
omnivores.
and
We are.
vegetables, but I think we consume far too much meat, generally speaking. Like,
Fair enough. It's
I had a ham and cheese sandwich on the way over here. Like, I don't know where that ham came from. I bought the thing from M&S.
obviously there are going to be times.
And
There are
like-
going to be times when you don't know where it comes from. But the majority of the time, as long as
Yeah,
you
if you
try and be
try,
a better
yeah.
fucking person, right?
Yeah.
I had this argument
rules
with
for
a
life.
friend of mine that he's vegetarian out of protest and all this. And because when I finished high school, I went to work in America on a harvesting crew.
Yeah.
Right. And the amount of animals that die in the harvesting of things like beans, corn, and stuff
of
like
course.
that, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So there's nothing that's cruelty free. Nothing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, sure.
Unless you grow it yourself.
Yeah. Sure.
There's nothing that's cruelty free.
Yeah.
And you can't fucking tell me that I'm being mean. And then
But
this
that-
guy, so I said to him, "How much do you spend a month on your fucking leaves and shit that you buy. And he's like, oh, I spend about £15 a week. I said, oh, so you buy like the cheapest of the cheap, which are mainly GMO stuff, which are mainly not raised in the right way with pesticides that poison the ground and everything like that. I spend about £500 a month on food. Okay, yes, it's a lot, but everything I buy is organic. Yeah, sure. And it's all, I'm not here to fuck up the environment. And even by me eating meat, I'm not doing it because there's something like only 6% of the methane and the greenhouse gases are caused by farming animals, right? And I think it's 6% of that, and I think like 3% or 4% of that is cows. Yeah. So you can fuck right off until you get everything else in order. I'm gonna keep eating meat anyway. So she came in, and that was the story. And she's like, "Oh, it's cruel, but it tastes really good." I said, "Yes, remember, but this is the story. This is how it works. They're gonna die anyway. You're not fucking taking away immortality from these animals, and it's not like they're gonna die in a nice way when they die in the nature. Because even dying from old age in nature sucks ass. Sure. You get slow, and then an animal's going to come and pick you off. Yeah, you're going to die being eaten alive.
Yeah, if you trip and your leg fall, you don't have antibiotics, you're going to die of an infection or something stupid. Bro. Medicine is awesome.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway,
we digress.
What a digression! Yeah.
Right. People that you work with and people that you've worked with.
I don't work with vegans.
No, stay away from.
No, I do actually. To be fair, I don't really mind.
Man, you know what?
Personal choices are
just the last thing about veganism. I found out my best friend is a vegan now, and I don't know what I'm more offended by: the fact that he's a vegan, or that he's been a vegan for 2 years and haven't told me that.
I mean, I wouldn't tell you if I was a vegan because you've got opinions about veganism, But I'm going to let you do your thing. Sure.
If you want to have an argument with me, I will explain myself.
Yeah.
But be a vegan. Yeah. Be a purple purple vegan in the closet. Whatever you want to do, right? Yeah. Do your thing. But don't fucking tell me what I have to do with my life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
And don't preach at me. Because I don't walk up to you, hey, I'm T, I'm a fucking meat eater, before I tell you about anything else. Because that seems to be the first thing. How do you know that someone's a vegan? How do you know that someone's a vegan? They tell you. It's within the first 4 or 5 sentences. And I'm all for everybody doing their own thing 100%.
Yeah.
But don't tell me what I have to do.
No, sure. I don't know. I mean, I think being vegan in general is a position of privilege, isn't it? Because
it's a first world problem.
You have to spend a lot of money on food to do it properly and healthily, and B, you can only do it with a globalized supply chain, so...
it's definitely a first world sort of problem, because you're not going to find people in the bush. They're like, oh no, I'll only eat leaves. They're going to fucking eat whatever they can eat, bro.
If you're hungry,
cockroaches and rats and whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, so
right,
speaking of cockroaches and rats,
those that you work with.
No, I don't work with any cockroaches or rats that I know of. But Elaine Page has been a client of mine for, I don't know.
There's no relation between her and what?
No, absolutely not. It was a purely coincidental link. No, it's a good gig. Like it's you get to do stuff to quite a high standard, and you work with some amazing musicians. And she obviously is quite a legend in her own right.
She is,
when
you speak very highly of her as well.
When she gets it right, I mean, she can probably put like raise the hairs on your back and your neck.
There's nothing like that.
I mean, the musicians that she's got are amazing as well. So it's good stuff. I've been working with her since 2016, I think. And then the other artists I work with, completely different vibe in
you
most
still work
respects.
with Shlomo?
I haven't worked with Shlomo for ages, man. Like he moved down to the South Coast, and half of that job was the driving to get to the gigs, so it doesn't really make sense. So he's got a guy there locally now, I think.
Makes sense,
but I work with an artist called Big Pig. Speaking of veganism,
that would be funny if they were all vegans, right?
Well, she is like a flexitarian, I would say. So she kind of...
Please explain.
So flexitarianism is basically like you're vegetarian, but you slip up quite a lot. kind of thing.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
I think it's a fairly reasonable way to go about it. Like, don't try
But
and
then
dogmatically cut all of the meat in your diet
just
forever.
don't be
but
militant about anything.
But generally speaking, she'll go for the vegetarian option. You know, which is cool.
I respect that.
Yeah. So her name is Big Pig. BIIG, because I don't know, man. Like they're youngsters, and I don't understand half of what they're saying most of the time.
Culture.
Super cool. I'm an old man.
It's
so
terrible, man. I think
it.
being cool is a 24-hour job.
You see, I don't know, man. It seems pretty effortless to them. But
well, I don't think so.
Anyway, yeah, I tour manage them and look after front of house and actually doing
kind
the
of
sound
music
on
is
that.
this?
I think they describe it as like neo soul, but it's kind of R&B-ish. She does a bit of rapping. It's quite jazzy as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It's very cool.
I'll check that out. You guys check that out as well.
Yeah, she just dropped her third EP. Can't remember what it's called. No Place for Patience, I think. Anyway, so yeah, I've been working with her for about.
That's a big problem with young people nowadays, right?
What's
they
that?
don't have any fucking patience.
Yeah.
Everything has to be now.
Yeah, no, but to work with her, you kind of do need a bit of patience.
Right. So she doesn't have the patience. You've got to have all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no place for patience is like Matt's got place for patience.
He's got the place for everybody. But he's like a place saver for the patients.
Yeah. But I've been working with them for about 14 months, and when I started with them, they were working with like a laptop that was on the headphone out, and then a guitar and a sax, and her vocal, and like
it sounds
a lot of it was
though.
like a lot of it was just playback, or like she didn't have the stems for some of her songs. She like songs that she'd done 5 years ago.
Right.
You literally just had an MP3 version of it, so she would just play the track and then sing along to it, and it was a bit like,
well,
how the hell am I supposed to make this sound good? You know, because it's just
difficult.
out of a headphone jack, and you've got no control over it.
Yeah.
So,
did you ever try and devocalize those?
No, I didn't. No, I'm not. I don't really get involved with studio stuff ever, man. Like, I don't know how it works.
Man, there's this program RX7 by Isotope.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Piece of gear. It is just the stuff that you can do. I had to do some restoration of old 1970s, 90s, 80s tapes, reel-to-reel tapes in the studio job that I was doing.
Yeah.
And just the spectral repair and stuff like that. It is incredible piece of software.
No, I've heard stuff's really good. But I basically just kind of sort of beat my head against the wall and said, you need to get stems.
Please.
You need to recreate them if you have to, like do whatever you need to do, but we can't.
This is not going to
fly.
Can't
play the track and then hope that it's going to sound anything like the new stuff where you do have stems. So they eventually they've done that now, and we've built earlier this year. They built a backline rig. That's like
Ableton Run.
Yeah, Ableton and like MIDI over. I don't know how it works. Like I got
You're
a guy
not
called
that
Luke.
guy.
No, I got a guy called Luke Collins.
I know Luke Collins.
He's a really good playback tech, and he's
Right.
he's running a business now called LGM Productions, building playback rigs basically. And so I got him to spec and design this thing, and we've got a really nice system now. We've got 14 outputs in total, which means that I can have like drums and bass and synths and
it's
all,
separated.
it's all, and then you can kind of mix the show.
Oh man, that makes
it's
a difference.
amazing, yeah. And then the Ableton rig also triggers all the patch changes on their guitar pedals and like
damn.
It's like
shit,
a really
man.
it's a really expandable system, and it's it'll set them up for the next sort of 5 years, I think.
Nice one.
Which is cool. And we just took that on the road. The first the first gig they did with it, I wasn't there for it. I was on tour with Elaine Page, but the first gig they did was live on Radio 1 at 8 p.m. And it was like stressful, man. It was quite a thing, but we had the backline tech that built it and the backline tech that subsequently took it on the road
they were
with
there.
them, and
Great.
and it all went fine, man. It was all cool, but it was
Those shows are very stressful.
gig to road test something like that on,
Not
like,
really. No.
It's a bit mental.
No, when a gig goes live, it's really stressful. I've done a few of those.
Yeah.
With Ceramic, I did it on the BBC as well once or twice. And we did, when I was with James McCartney, we did the David Letterman show.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
I'd sort of gone in there as a consultant.
Sure, yeah.
You know, because they got
the
their
broadcast
guys.
Don't normally let you touch
No,
the
they
desk,
don't even
they?
let you look at it, really.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of gotten involved a little bit, but I saw these guys were really just, you know, this is their thing.
Yeah.
So kind of let them.
I think I mean it's quite stressful and I don't know. I wasn't there though. I listened to it on the radio as it came out. Yeah, it was great.
Fantastic.
I mean it was at Maida Vale and like you know I know quite a lot of the BBC engineers. I don't know the guys that did that one, but like you know they're all really good.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They've been doing it a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if that stress wears off after a while. Because I still get butterflies before shows.
Do you?
I do.
I very
if it's a
rarely
show
do.
if it's a show that I care about, I do.
Yeah,
100%.
sure.
If it's something I don't give a shit about, it can be like whatever.
Yeah.
Then no.
I think it depends on how ambitious the show is. So like I was pretty stressed and nervous for the Albert Hall Ronnie's thing, and the one big show that I did previous to that at the Albert Hall was this One Young World opening ceremony thing that I did on monitors, and it was like it's that one that you mentioned that had like I don't know,
100 and something,
like 100 inputs and I think about 40 mixes and on monitors, and like it was a show, you know. So we had like a little segment from a West End show, and then a couple of live acts, and then loads of speechy stuff, and you know, it's the kind of thing that like
a lot of snapshots to get through. Like
a lot of snapshots, and you needed a prep day, and then a rehearsal day, and then a gig day.
Did you get those?
We had a morning sound check where we rehearsed about half the show, not in order, and then we hit the show, and it was like,
fuck.
I really got a lot of faith in my programming right now because you hit next, and hope the right things come up because you haven't been able to chase through it, and you know it was quite intense.
Well, you're still here, so
I haven't had a heart attack yet. But those kind of gigs where I'm like, you know, you've just got to have a lot of faith in what you've in the prep work that you've done, and you've done it really quick and on the fly, and you're like, oh shit, okay, hope for the best, you know. Yeah. But like, I mean, if it's a gig that I'm really confident with, everything's in the right place, and I know where it is, and I know I've heard the PA enough times, and you know, like.
At Ronnie's, generally we're a bit more relaxed. Yeah, some shows are, you know, nerve-wracking. Yeah. And then others not so much.
But I think normally if I've had a decent enough sound check and I'm, you know, and I'm confident, then no, I don't really get stressed. You know, I get a bit of a buzz, and like, you know, it's like when you get to the end of the first track, if the applause is raucous, then you're like, okay, cool, I've got this. Do you know what I mean? Like if it's a bit like whatever, you know, or if you miss something, or you know,
then it's with you, man. It haunts you for the rest of that fucking gig.
Absolutely.
I was talking about this
second guessing yourself.
That's the worst thing. It's just, you know, because it'll fuck you up for the rest of that gig.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing you can do to
One of the weirdest ones I ever did was at the Albert Hall. It was a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just a screening. So it was like, you know,
playback.
VT left and right. That was all I had to work with. And it was just like, put it up
How
there.
did you fuck that up?
I didn't. But it's an old film, right? So the soundtrack is a bit like, there's
Crackling.
not a lot of top end. It's really middly. And like, you know, it's hard to make it clear, even if you're sitting in a lounge. And in the Albert Hall, obviously, you've got an RT60 time of like 3 seconds, and it's all low mid, and it's quite a horrendous room. So it does take a bit of work to get these sort of dialogue things going right. And what I didn't know is that,
just like, before you go on, explain RT60 for those.
Reverb time from, I think, when the reverb tail hits 60 dB below the original impulse.
Thank you.
I think something like that. The reverb time.
Gotcha. No, I just wanted to let you clarify that.
Fair enough. Sometimes you catch yourself saying things like, you know, I don't know, just saying a bunch of like letters and numbers, and like it only makes sense to some people, and everyone else is just like, that is Greek. What are you saying?
Yeah, are you cursing at me?
Yeah. Anyway, so what I didn't know about the Rocky Horror Picture Show is like the fans, like it's a cult classic, right? So
it is.
Like people are like,
don't change anything.
But they heckle the film. And one of the first heckles that they shout is, louder! And I was just like, seriously?
This is
my
loud.
ears are bleeding, man. Like, what do you... And I was just like, does this not sound okay? And it just like... It was a 2-channel gig. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
What am I going to do?
Like, yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, but anyway.
God damn.
I don't know. You just have to have a thick skin at some point, like, you know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it's again, it's something that you develop over the years. You can't just walk in and expect to have that. Yeah. But like you said at the beginning of this, it's probably something that needs to be mentioned at some stage along the way when people are studying. To just sometimes take things with a pinch of salt. Yeah. And sometimes, you're well within your right to say to somebody, no, I don't agree.
Yeah, but just don't do it to the owner of the venue if you don't know who it is.
Try and be respectful, because you don't know who a person is that walks up to you. Yeah. I always try and be respectful to the point where if they keep going over and over, then I'll say to them, listen, you're impeding my work and my ability to do my job. Can you go away, please? Yeah. Yeah, I've done that, and I've also told someone to fuck off before, because it's just absolute bullshit that they come up with. But also, I mean, you've got to play with psychoacoustics. Like the DFA channel. That's your best friend. It's your best
DFA, friend. Again, a bunch of letters. It's the does fuck all channel, and it's it's like someone goes, "Oh, can you do this?" Blah 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 blah, and you go, "Yeah, sure," and you just twiddle some knobs.
Oh my god!
But do absolutely nothing, and you go, "Is that all right?" And it's like, "Yeah, perfect, thanks, man."
I know. I've had that so many times.
Do you know what? Like, but that solved the problem, because he thinks he's made the adjustment that he wanted to make, and now he's like super happy. You've made the mix better for him.
You've accommodated him.
But he thinks it sounds better, so awesome.
You've accommodated him, so there's again that confidence that they have in you. Yeah. It's been strengthened. Even restored, because it happens that, during a sound check, you'll get feedback sometimes. It does fucking happen.
Sure.
And then if they start on this and then you make these little adjustments, whether you make them or not, that's that, okay, this guy actually does know what he's doing.
Yeah, sure.
The shit happens sometimes, but he fixed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think also it's not so much about not making mistakes, but in fixing it, and how you deal with that makes a big difference. So I mean, you were saying about Big Pig that you're working with.
Big Pig, yeah. So I've been working with them for 15 months or so. We've just done a big old, well, not a big tour. It was 7 shows in. I mean, we drove a long way, man. It was me and a backline tech and a splitter van, one of those gigs, and we did Brussels, Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, back to back, and then a day to get to Bristol, and then got to Bristol and straight back into London that night, and then a couple of days off, and then we did a London show and a Dublin show, and this is all on the new rig and just in the build up to this new EP launch, and it all seemed to go pretty well, and like everything sold out except Brussels, and everyone was like, "Why are we in Brussels, man? Like, it's weird." But
looking for Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Hey,
looking for Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. It was
like searching for Sugar Man.
It was a good show to be the first one though, because like the backline rig, it was the first time we just like this new backline tech plugged it all up, and it just didn't work. And I mean, we had to push doors back, and I mean, we were like 15 minutes from losing the show. I think it was just like really
stressful.
Yeah, but It taught the band, who are quite young and they haven't done that amount of touring stuff, but like it taught them the importance of, okay, this is why we get to the venue early, and this is why we build in contingency time.
This is why you're on time.
Because it's all fun and games when you plug it up right and then you've got 3 hours to kill. That's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need that 3 hours to fix some fairly major problems. So it was good, like, that it happened on the first tour.
Great.
It was good. The backline tech's quite green as well, because we didn't have a lot of money to pay for someone with loads of experience. So we took on quite a young chap who knows what he's doing, and now he knows that rig. Like, so because you can't learn stuff except when it breaks. You can't learn how to fix stuff when it's working.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he learned that.
Well, I guess you could break it and then.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard to actually break stuff. Because when it's working, it's usually like plug and play, and
Yeah. So what was the problem in it?
I've no idea, dude. It was weird. Like there's a 10-channel interface, and we just couldn't get audio out of 9 and 10. I don't know why. anyway, we just eventually we just bounced down the 12 channels that I wanted. We put it down to 8 and carried on, you know. So mono some of the keys up, and just, you know, instead of having kick snares and high percussions as 4 channels, I just put all the drums into 2, and off you go, you know. Like you just make it
work.
Yeah,
that's it. I think that is one of the most important things of being an engineer, and I think that's where you separate the men from the mice, or the, you know, with the guys that can fix shit in the moment and are willing to sacrifice this or that, you know, smaller things that aren't a big fucking deal.
You just gotta make the show happen.
Because that's why you're there, right? You're not there for anything else. It's not for you. It's not, you are there to make this fucking gig happen.
Yeah.
You know, and if you sometimes have to sacrifice small little things or bodge something, gaffer tape the fuck out of it until the end of the show and then fix it, then
I don't know,
finding those solutions.
It's quite and the other lesson that was learned in that show, particularly for that backline tech, I think, was just keep calm. You know, you won't fix it if you start panicking.
Absolutely. I spoke about this with Max as well, because even if you do fix it in a panic, you don't know what you've done, and you can't replicate it.
You have to be methodical about things, and you know, at some point he was just like, he was getting a bit flustered, and I could tell. I was like, okay, dude, just
calm down, take a breath,
take a step back. How about we switch the whole thing off, unplug it, and then do it in the sequence that you know how to do, and we'll recall the previous show file that, like, you know, that was working in the rehearsal studio, and we'll start there.
Are you touring a desk?
No,
right.
Not yet.
That'd be fun, wouldn't
it? So the next move is to get her on any monitors, and then I hope to add like a monitor. I don't know, I'm kind of toying with the idea of just like buying one of these like Behringer X Air kind of things.
One of those?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, what's that, 16
XR18, yeah, 16 XLR.
I think I need about 22 to do the gig, like 100%, you know. So.
Yeah, I believe you can daisy chain these cunts together.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, that would be
just
perfect,
get an X32.
because then you just get
X32 rack.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer a Digico, but you know, you got to fly with the thing. You know.
Yeah, true. The X32 rack you can stick in a portable, and there you go.
But yeah, I mean, that would be cool, because then you kind of, I mean, they've got the playback rig, which is just balanced line out, so that's just straight in, and then
if you can get away with one of these for monitors, you can just reduce some of the channel counts, things they don't need for monitors.
Yeah,
you know, and just do that, because it's got 2 TRSs in as well, so you got 18.
Yeah, sure.
And
I don't know. We'll work that out.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
It's budget and I don't know.
These are flying off the shelf for like 370 quid now.
Yeah. I think like mainly the problem is that, like, if you put it in, then it's another case, which means it's like
it's another 70 quid every trip.
Exactly.
But you can put that in your backpack.
Yeah, but I've got to carry clothes, mate. Need some.
You're talking about? I thought you were the naked sound guy. What, is this a rumor?
Sometimes I am naked, but not often on gigs, if I'm honest. Like,
all right.
Sorry,
I thought that must be a rumor then.
Must be someone else that you're thinking of.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, have you got some exciting gigs coming up with these guys?
Do you know what? No, like we've got nothing until March next year currently in the diary.
Cool.
So like October 2019 was stupid. Again, we had a tour in March lined up, and I think that's been kicked into August. So like, I've just had the most ridiculous month pretty much of my career. I had an Elaine Page tour. I went on a 6-day holiday, and then went and did this mega front of house tour manager drive gig with Big Pig. Managed the Albert Hall gig while on the road. It was, I mean, I don't know how my brain didn't melt. And now I've got like
nothing.
I've got very little in the diary that needs any sort of advancing, or you know, you
can just turn up and do the gig for a change,
which will be like back to normal.
Yeah, it's like a holiday.
I mean? Like, and I was just like, oh yay, great. You know, I'm doing monitors at the Apollo on Tuesday.
That's a great place, man. I love the Apollo.
Yeah, it's a great sounding venue as well. But I'm going into prep at SSE tomorrow. I have no idea what you know. I'm going to walk in at 10 a.m. and get the information and make it work. And it's like I don't have to think about it for any length of time until I'm on the day
until
being
you're right
paid.
there. Yeah,
It's like,
fantastic.
it's wicked, yeah.
It's like a holiday.
So yeah, that's kind of me to the end of the year, with the exception of my last gig of the year is in Thailand. Is
Awesome.
It's like I'm system teching, I guess, a dance music thing, but it's an Elisa system. Do you know Elisa? It's kind of like, it's basically complicated panning is what it is, but it's a surround sound rig. So
what are we going? 5-1, 7-1,
12 points horizontally, 8 in the vertical.
just going Atmos with this shit.
So yeah, I mean, it's basically like you create a round space with 360 degree, I mean, basically the difference between like 5.1, 7.1, 8.10, U12, whatever. It's more pixels to your picture, right? It's more high definition surround, and so you can create a space.
Yeah.
And you can chuck like a TC electronic.
And you've got objects
reverb
that you can move around. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you put the DJ a little bit into this reverb. So the DJ is still coming out of like in front of you.
Yeah.
But you can make it sound like you're in a club.
Yeah.
And you can make the space grow. And then, when the bass drops, you can just suck it all back in.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just, it's
nice.
If you're not sober, it's fucking incredible.
Yeah. If you're sober, it's hard work.
But no, it's cool. It's a gig called for a group called Polygon Productions, and they're putting on this thing.
That sounds really interesting.
We did it last year. I did it. I was contracted for it through Delta, who was a company I've done work for years with.
Yeah.
And then this year Polygon was like, "Can we have you back? Do you mind having a word with Delta, and we'll just work with you directly?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine.
You don't have to have a word with Delta.
Well,
just book me directly."
It's always polite.
It's courtesy.
It's courtesy. If they've given me the gig, then you kind of go, "Well, do you mind?" And they were fine with it. Like it's.
They understand what the freelance world's about.
The first part of the word freelance, free.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that I'm free, I get paid, but I'm free to do whatever I want. Is the point.
Do you mean you get paid
sometimes
to do this work?
Every now and then, yeah.
Right, I must have been doing something wrong then.
Are you still on doing it for the exposure?
The experience.
Yeah, the experience.
Yeah, I'm still earning it.
Yeah, great, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't start. No one stops earning experience, but yeah. Anyway,
great.
So yeah, no, it's a fun gig, and it put me into that whole world of Elisa, and I'm not a qualified tech, but I know enough about it now and how to make it work and stuff.
Nice,
so
nice.
I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
That'll be hard work for sure. It'll be long days and not much sleep. But then I'm flying from Bangkok back home to South Africa for Christmas and New Year's and that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great.
And I don't know what's in store for next year.
Well, we'll see when that comes, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to Turkey. What's the day? In 2 weeks.
Okay.
Looking forward to that really much.
Working or
working?
Holiday?
Yeah. No, just one day. You know how it goes.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Flying out Friday morning, doing the gig Friday, and then coming back Saturday morning.
Yeah.
With Simande. That's going to be fun.
It's not a job that you can do if you have too much concern for your carbon footprint. Yes.
Well, it's not like those planes weren't going to fly.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah,
it's the same with fucking harvesting animals.
Yeah.
It's not like they weren't going to fucking die.
No, sure.
Yeah, we need to try and minimize as much as we can. Yeah. Fair enough. But if you've got a job to do,
yeah, totally.
I'm not gonna take a bus to Turkey.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
That would be even worse for the environment.
Yeah. My travel day rate goes up if I'm on a bus.
Oh, no.
It's like a bus to Turkey.
Yeah, there's one thing that is travel days, man. My God, it's a very sort of. I mean, you kind of want to say, I'm away from home and away from all my other work, so it's really a work day.
Yeah.
Whether I'm not gigging or not, I'm there working because I'm not there against my will.
I think so.
But it is, I'm not there because I want to fucking be there. I'm there because I'm doing a job.
Yeah, there's a gap in your diary.
Yeah,
you
could have filled it with a very well paid job.
Yeah. I think travel days should be paid at full whack.
I think so.
But I mean, every day rate on every gig is usually negotiable. And so it's nice when you do get a full
if you
rate,
get a travel day. Some guys don't pay that.
I would not say yes to that job.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something that you need to argue for sure.
Yeah, no, I go on the policy that if my head's not on my pillow, then you pay me a day rate for that. Like, end of. But again, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And one of the things that tour managing Big Pig has opened my eyes to, and this Albert Hall thing, is like I've never really dealt with the money side of things. I just rock up and make shit louder, But when you start having to play to budget constraints and that, and you just realize that, like, gigs on a certain level are just, it's very hard to make them profitable and pay people properly.
It's a black hole.
It's a tricky thing. So I have more sympathy now for people that have asked me to do like really long days for a lowish day rate or whatever. But like at the same time, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you look at it and you go like, yeah, this gig's definitely making money and I'm busting my balls.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
I feel shafted.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
100%, man. It's a balance you gotta strike. And also I suppose it's how much you love the band or the act that you're working with, and how much you're prepared to give to them. What portion of your ass are you willing to give away for these guys?
I mean, it's just even in corporate, like, I'm slightly more willing to bend over backwards for a corporate gig that's like a charity fundraiser than I am for, like,
bankers,
or I don't know, some end of year party for that basically the corporation's just spunking money up the wall because they don't want to pay tax.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm not going to bust my balls for that. Like,
you'll bust your balls, but you get paid
and
full whack.
You're not going to give me something a bit better than cold crew lasagna kind of shit.
No gig lasagna for me on that one, please. I want my fucking filet mignon. I want that shit cooked rare, bloody, if you can, please. If you give it a shot of terramycin, it still jumps up and kick a little bit.
But I mean, like when you do gigs that are, for the same companies, the same production company will do a gig this week for, like, I don't know, Oxfam or War Child or whatever, and then the next day they'll be doing something for Deloitte or Deutsche Bank. And
obviously, like, you tailor.
Actually, the problem is that most of the time that company that you're working for, like, you have an agreement with them and they have to figure it out. But like.
Well, if they approach you and they say, "Listen, this is a situation. Can we strike a deal?" You can consider it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had that once where I was doing a cash gig.
Yeah.
And there was an agreed amount because it was a regular gig that I'd been doing, and then this one gig was for a charity gig.
Yeah.
For something about the armed forces, which I'm completely against the war, and I'm not into. I'm sorry that you got blown up, but what the fuck were you doing there? Right. And I was not happy because after I'd done the gig, the promoter come to me, because this was charity, this is all you're gonna get. I said no, absolutely not. You give me my full fee. Yeah. And if I think I believe in this charity, I'll give some of it back. But you're not going to come after I'd done a 13-hour day and then tell me you're going to give me half my fucking fee. No.
No.
No. That's when up against the wall. No, sir. I want my fucking money now.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Yeah, you don't work for people like that twice, though.
No. No. Well, that was the last one.
Yeah. I know sometimes you just have to draw a line under it, man. Like, I don't know.
Even if it was typically a well-paid gig, and once somebody, I mean, it just shows a little bit about what a person is, and really, do you want to work with somebody like that?
It shows you what they think, how
they
value your work. Like, it's like, no, well, if I wasn't there, sure, you might have gotten another sound engineer to do it for far less money, but if I wasn't there that night, you wouldn't have had a gig. So,
and you don't come after the fact and try and shaft me. No, I mean, I had that. I'd say I had an argument with a manager at a prominent club once, where the previous night I'd had an argument with one of the new managers because he just basically thrown his weight around and started like pulling faders down and things like that, and I'm like, don't touch my desk, okay? You want something done, tell me. And it turned into almost a physical confrontation between the two of us. Because he was young and he was all cocky and all that, and I wasn't going to get pushed around. And so that had gotten back to the general manager, and then the general manager said to me, "You know what? You're not as important here as you think you are." And I just said to him, "Hold on, this is a music venue.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm replaceable, 100%.
Yeah.
But the job that I do here is not. You can not be here, and this place will run fine, mate.
Yeah.
Right? Any one of your managers can not be here, not show up, and the place will run fine. Yeah. Any one of your waiters or barmen cannot be here, and the place will run fine. Yeah. If I'm the only person here doing my job, and I'm not here, you're fucked." Okay? So understand that. I'm not saying I'm irreplaceable, but the job that I do here at a music venue is pretty much
the reputation of the place.
Any one of you can fucking die right now, and this place would keep going. You understand? It doesn't matter. But the job that we do is very important. So, just have a little bit of respect for the job that we do. Again, I'm not saying I'm irreplaceable, but the job that I do definitely is. This is a music venue.
And I mean, if it's your desk and your show, nobody touches it without your permission.
Yes, 100%. And I said that to him.
You've got your way of running the show, and that's, know.
Yeah, no, what had happened was, it was the band had finished playing, and there was a DJ going on, and it was early. It was like 1 a.m. And the doors were till 3, and the place was packed. It's not like there weren't anybody. The band had basically just finished like 20 minutes before.
Yeah, sure.
I was outside having a cigarette, and I just hear the music go down.
Yeah.
And everybody like, whoa, whoa, whoa. All the crowd's like going, what's going on? And I walk back in, and I see him walking away. And the desk had been, and I look at the barman. I'm like, what's going on? It's like he just I push the faders back up, and he turns around, and he's got this coming up to me. And he tries to pull the fader down again. I said, no, you don't touch my desk. Forget about it. Don't do this. And he tried it again, like forced my hand out the way. I was like, don't get physical with me. And but my mistake, right? I'd stood up, and then he comes and squares up to me, and I said to him, Are you squaring up to me?
Yeah.
If you want, I'll take you outside and I'll fuck you up. And as I said, fuck you up, there was a break in the music, and like 100 people looked at this, what was going on. And now, it was not my finest moment.
Yeah, sure.
But also, it wasn't not what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, sometimes people need to learn lessons.
They do. Anyway, man, it has been a lot of fun.
There's been a lot of tangents, man.
Well, we were just having a good chat. It was great.
I
mean, the thing about this is that I keep saying this. I know so many fucking awesome people, like really cool people, and really good at their jobs in the music industry. Musicians, other industry professionals, and sound engineers especially.
Sure.
And it's just to kind of sit down and have a conversation without a mobile telephone or sound check.
Sure.
We've got a quick break. Let's go to the pub and have a drink, and then we got to run back because the show's going to start. There's no disruptions. There's no. It's just a nice conversation.
I never drink before shows. Just.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously.
Right. Not drink anymore or any less. No, I mean it's everybody knows it. It's a social job. We have a good time. We know what we're doing. We know how to stay within the boundaries, and we do a professional thing. But it's just for me. I like to have just some nice conversations. And get to know. Not that I don't know you, because I know you, right? We've known each other a long time, and the same with all the other people I've had on here. Apart from the one I did with Brenda and Christopher. She's a harpist, and he's a DJ. He works at Ronnie's as well. I don't know them that well, but apart from the other people, I know them. I don't know everything about them. I didn't know everything about you. But when do we get to sit down and have a real conversation?
Yeah, what we were saying in the kitchen earlier, like when was the last time we saw each other? Like,
right.
I mean, we've known each other 12 years solid. Like, but when
was the last time we sat down? And even if you do sit down, there's always a distraction. There's always a text coming through or this or that. And here it's just let's have a conversation and just shoot the shit for a while.
It's a cool.
It doesn't have to be technical. Yes, I want to have a chat with technicians, sound engineers, musicians, because this is my field. But it's more just let's just have a good time and have a chat and get to know each other better, and everybody else gets to know you. And obviously, I do make a point of sort of posting in the description afterwards all the sort of details that you're happy to give, like a LinkedIn account or something like that.
Sure.
So if somebody wants to get in contact with you, either in regards to shows that are going to do, or they want to hire you, all these sorts of things, I'll put it in there, and then people can start building their database of great engineers and awesome people.
I mean, I've got a LinkedIn, but I don't think I've updated it in 5 years.
I haven't mine either. I bit the bullet and I started a Twitter and an Insta twat. I feel like I've sold my soul, but I've done it. I try and promote this thing a little bit because like I said, it's just a bit of fun, and unfortunately got to do promotion for these things.
Absolutely honoured to be invited, man. It's been a cool chat.
Thank you very much.
I'll give you some. I don't know.
No, we do that after. You just text me and I put it in the descriptions anyway.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Nice.
See you next time. Bye.
Cool. Cheers.
Right, there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I have. Some tangents. We had a really good time. Thank you very much for Matt Gush. As always, the links to social media, etc. will be found in the description. Also, if you like this, please like it, share it, subscribe, share with your friends, do whatever you want. Thank you very much. See you next time.